Walking away can be one of the most difficult decisions you'll ever have to make in life. It's not about giving up, running away from your problems, or choosing the easy way out. It's an act of self-love. It's an act of courage, a decision that, when made consciously, can transform your life at its very core. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung taught that true spiritual growth arises when we're brave enough to look at ourselves honestly. We must be willing to recognize what holds us back and what propels us forward toward our deepest purpose. And often that recognition involves the painful but necessary process of letting go of people, environments, ideas, or identities that no longer resonate with who we truly are inside. How many times have you found yourself staying in a relationship, a job, or even a mindset that deep down you knew wasn't right for you? That feeling of emptiness and inner conflict aren't coincidences. They're messages from your unconscious mind, like whispers trying to steer you gently in a different direction. Jung believed that our unconscious is not something to be feared or ignored. It's constantly working, guiding us toward wholeness and integration. But to move in that direction, we must first have the courage to face the parts of ourselves we've hidden in the shadows. The shadow, a central concept in Jungian psychology, represents all the aspects of ourselves we've repressed, denied, or rejected. Our fears, our insecurities, our past wounds, they're the parts of ourselves we've buried because they felt too painful or simply didn't fit with the image we wanted to present to the world. But these hidden parts don't just disappear. They show up in our lives, often mirrored in the people we choose to surround ourselves with. When you feel trapped, drained, or disconnected, it's not a coincidence. It's a projection of something within you that desperately needs to be seen, acknowledged, and healed. But healing doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do for yourself is to walk away, to step back from whatever is consuming your energy, clouding your clarity, and pulling you away from what truly matters. We live in a world that glorifies endurance, but Jung invites us to challenge those beliefs. He reminds us that clinging to what no longer serves us is not a virtue. It's a form of self-abandonment. True strength lies in knowing when to release and when to honor your truth, even if it means disappointing others or walking away from what's familiar. What kind of life could you create if you gave yourself permission to choose your inner peace over external validation? Letting go is not weakness. It's the ultimate act of bravery. It sends a clear message to your unconscious. I am ready for something better. And when you choose to walk away with clarity and intention, something extraordinary begins to happen. You start to come back to yourself, and you begin to hear your intuition more clearly. That quiet voice within that has always been there, waiting patiently for you to listen. Jung taught that the relationships we form don't just influence us, they mirror us. The people closest to us act as mirrors, reflecting not only our strengths, but also our unresolved wounds and inner conflicts. When you stay in dynamics that make you feel small, you're not just experiencing discomfort. You're ignoring a deeper message from within. Something inside you is calling for transformation, and stepping away is not selfish. It's a journey into self-awareness. It's the moment you look at yourself with radical honesty and ask, is this helping me grow, or is this keeping me stuck? The answer might hurt, but in that truth lies the key to your evolution. Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming your most authentic self. It asks us to be brave enough to walk away from what's familiar when it no longer reflects our truth. The signs that it's time to walk away are usually there, but we ignore them because the fear of the unknown often feels stronger than the desire for change. It might start as a quiet discomfort, a subtle restlessness, or an emotional exhaustion that no amount of rest can fix. These aren't just emotional states, they are inner guides. They are your soul's way of telling you you're out of alignment. Choosing to walk away isn't about abandoning others. It's about returning to yourself. It's about honoring your evolution, even when it's uncomfortable. As difficult as it may be, it is often the very path that leads to true healing, inner peace, and ultimately freedom. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to create the life that aligns with your soul. Sometimes that means walking away, and in doing so, you're not closing a chapter. You're opening a new one. Jung emphasized that true spiritual growth demands courage. It's tested in those moments when you're asked to let go of something you once believed to be essential. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means honoring the role it played in your life, recognizing the lessons it brought, and making the conscious choice to release it so that something new, something more aligned, can enter. In choosing to walk away, you're not just freeing yourself, you're also allowing the other person or situation to find its own path. Jung believed that when you release what no longer fits your journey, you make space for what does. This process is far from linear. There will be moments filled with uncertainty, nostalgia, and fear. This is where Jung's teachings become a lifeline. He spoke of the power hidden within chaos, the sacred opportunity that lies in emptiness. In the vacuum left behind by what we release, there exists the raw potential for transformation. Jung's concept of individuation requires you to face your shadows. These shadows aren't something to fear. They're the rejected parts of your psyche, and by integrating them, you step into a deeper sense of wholeness. Think of a time when you had to walk away from someone. At first, it may have felt like a loss, but in time you may have noticed something subtle yet powerful. Clarity, peace, a quiet strength. This isn't a coincidence. According to Jung, when we release emotional burdens, we clear a path for our real essence to emerge. One of the greatest challenges is dealing with external judgment. Jung referred to this as the conflict between the authentic self and the adapted self. When you choose to walk away from something that no longer aligns with you, you're essentially peeling off the mask of the adapted self. You're rejecting the life others expect you to live and choosing instead to honor what your soul deeply needs. That is a revolutionary act. Jung reminds us that walking away is not an act of cowardice. It's an act of profound responsibility. You're not running from problems. You're acknowledging that you cannot grow in a space that stifles your spirit. You cannot heal in a relationship that continually wounds you. And you cannot discover your purpose while clinging to what has already served its purpose. Jung taught us that these inner voices of fear aren't enemies. They are fragments of our psyche yearning for integration. The key lies not in silencing them, but in listening to them with empathy, tracing them back to their origins, and then consciously choosing a different path. This journey of transformation is not immediate. It demands patience, time, and self-compassion. As these inner shifts begin to take place, you'll notice subtle but powerful changes in your perception. Situations that once overwhelmed you lose their grip. People who used to drain your energy no longer affect you the same way. This transformation doesn't remain confined to your internal landscape. It radiates outward. Opportunities that once seemed impossible begin to emerge. Relationships that nourish your spirit start to appear. One of the most powerful ideas Jung introduced is the concept of shadow integration. When you walk away from a toxic situation, you're not doing it out of hatred. You're doing it from a place of clarity and love. You understand that even the most painful situations had something to teach you, and with that understanding comes the ability to let go with peace. Jung also emphasized the extraordinary role of intuition in the spiritual path. That gut feeling, that subtle voice inside, is your unconscious speaking to you. When you choose to listen and act upon it, you begin to strengthen your connection to your inner self. It's like tuning an instrument. The more you practice listening, the clearer and more trustworthy that inner voice becomes. The true power of walking away is that it allows you to reclaim your energy and refocus it. Jung believed that our psychic energy is finite, and when we spend it on relationships that do not support our growth, we rob ourselves of the energy we need to create and live fully. Walking away is a declaration, a reclaiming of your right to choose where your energy goes and who has access to it. In this process, you will inevitably encounter one of Jung's most profound concepts, the polarity between the ego and the self. The ego craves control and validation, but the self is much larger. It is the totality of who we are, both our light and our shadow, and it seeks wholeness. When you walk away from things that no longer align with your truth, you are allowing the self to lead. This act requires immense courage, but it's in that uncertainty where your transformation takes root. You are choosing growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and purpose over fear. Jung reminds us that this sacrifice is not in vain. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for what truly matters. And in that space, you might just uncover your purpose. As you walk this path, resistance will likely show up from within you too. But growth never happens in comfort. It is in the moments of doubt and uncertainty where your inner strength is forged. With time, you'll begin to notice a shift. This choice to let go starts to transform your view of the world. Relationships stop feeling like burdens and instead become sources of nourishment. Challenges stop feeling like insurmountable obstacles and start to look like opportunities to learn and evolve. This transformation isn't magic. It's the direct result of aligning your life with your inner truth. This act of letting go, of realigning, doesn't just benefit you. It ripples outward. Jung believed that when a person becomes authentic, they elevate everyone around them. Your decision to live from your truth may inspire others to do the same. Walking away is a process of reconnection, a homecoming to your true self. It's like returning from a long journey and realizing that everything you've ever needed was always inside of you. Jung spoke of the unconscious as a vast ocean filled with insights that we often search for outside ourselves, but can only truly access by turning inward. Walking away from what no longer resonates with your spirit is a vital step toward accessing that inner ocean. And when you make that brave decision to release, something powerful begins to happen. You begin to feel a clarity that once seemed impossible. That inner voice, the one you might have ignored for so long, begins to grow louder and more trustworthy. From this sacred place, you gain the ability to make choices with confidence, knowing they align with who you really are. It's important to understand that this journey is not about perfection. Jung taught that the goal of life is not to be flawless, but to be whole. Choosing to walk away is not a declaration of superiority. It's an acknowledgement that you deserve to live in a space that reflects your authentic self. And sometimes the most compassionate act is simply saying goodbye. Jung spoke about synchronicity, the mysterious way the universe shows us we're on the right path. When you align with your purpose, life starts to respond in ways that feel almost magical. People show up, events unfold. Chances appear not by coincidence, but because you've begun to live from a place of truth. The magic of walking away is that it not only clears space in your outer world, it clears space within your heart. You begin to feel again, to explore who you really are, and to reconnect with forgotten parts of yourself. You give yourself permission to redefine your identity, not based on external expectations, but on your own deepest desires. And this is perhaps the greatest gift you can ever give yourself. Jung described this awakening as the process of individuation, a profound inner journey that leads you to become the person you were always meant to be. In this context, choosing to walk away isn't merely an act of liberation. It's a sacred step toward integrating all the parts of your being. The integration of the shadow is one of the most essential aspects of this journey. Jung reminded us that the shadow isn't something to be destroyed. It's a vital part of who we are. Real growth begins when you confront that shadow and invite it into your story. When you walk away from what no longer serves you, you're not running. You're choosing to face those hidden parts of yourself. And in doing so, you allow them to become part of your transformation. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments, to join this community of growth, and to spread this message to those who need to hear it. Remember, real transformation begins within. It is not about searching outside for something you have always carried inside. It is about uncovering that latent force within you, the one that allows you to live fully, authentically, and with purpose. Share this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can continue receiving content that inspires you to look within and transform your life. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being part of this journey. Your story matters, and the world is waiting for it.